Hello students, welcome to the class of English Literature. Today we are going to discuss a poem. The title of the poem is Telephone Conversation. The poem is written by a Nigerian poet, Wal Soyinka. This poem is included in the syllabus of BA Part 3rd. Wal Soyinka was born on 13 July 1934 in western Nigeria. He is a playwright, poet, and political activist. Born into a Yoruba family in Abeokuta, Soyinka grew up in an Anglican mission compound, being deeply involved in both Christian teachings and his native tribal spiritualism. After completing his study in Nigeria and United Kingdom, he began writing for the Royal Court Theatre in London from 1958 to 1960. In 1960, he was awarded a Rockefeller bursary and returned to Nigeria to study African drama. At the same time, he taught drama and literature at various universities. In 1960, he founded the theatre group the 1960 Masks, and in 1964 the Orison Theatre Company, in which he has produced his own plays and he took part as actor. Soyinka played an active role in Nigeria's political history and in its struggle for independence from Great Britain. In 1965, he seized the Western Nigeria Broadcasting Service studio and broadcast a demand for the cancellation of Western Nigeria regional elections. In 1967, during the Nigerian Civil War, he was arrested by the federal government and was put in solitary confinement for 22 months. So, by reading the biography of the poet, we come to know that poet is associated with the time of colonialism, and he has seen the discrimination which was prevalent at that time. There is an introduction about the poem which we are going to discuss. Soyinka has published several plays, novels, and poetry, and his writing is unique because it blends traditional folk drama with European dramatic form and is deeply satirical. The poem which we are going to read is also a satire. Wal Soyinka was also awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature, and he is the first African to be honored with that title. Telephone Conversation is a 1963 poem by this Nigerian writer Wal Soyinka. It is a commentary on racism and points towards the conflict within the protagonist. The poem describes a phone call, as its title suggests, and this phone call is between a landlady and the speaker, who is a black person, and they are talking about renting an apartment. The landlady is pleasant until she learns that the speaker is African, at which point she demands to know how light or dark the speaker's skin is. In response, the speaker cleverly mocks the landlady's ignorance and prejudice, demonstrating that characterizing people by their skin color is really bad for humanity. The fact that a man is judged on the basis of his color, even in the 20th century, is rather alarming and projects a society where individuality is at stake. The poem is written in free verse. It means it is not following any regular meter or rhyme scheme, as the title of the poem, Telephone Conversation. So we come to know when we read the poem that it is written in the form of conversation. So the form of the poem is free verse. The poem begins as: the price seemed reasonable, location indifferent. The landlady swore she lived off premises. Nothing remained but self confession. Madam, I warned, I hate a wasted journey. I am an African. The poem begins with a positive note. The price seemed reasonable, location is also indifferent. They are talking about the letting properties of a house. The price of that house is reasonable, the location is also very good, and the landlady swore that she lived off premises. So nothing remained but one thing that is left is self confession. It seemed like a good price and the location was fine. But and landlady promised that she did not live in the building. The poem strikes a positive note as the man gets to know that his privacy won't be hampered because the landlady does not stay in that place. The only thing that left was to confess something important about the man, as he is aware of the prejudices and would not like to travel unnecessarily to see the house, as he says, I hate a wasted journey. And the confession is that I am African, that he is a black man. Silence, silenced transmission of pressurized good breeding. Voice when it came, lipstick coated, long gold rolled, cigarette holder piped. Caught I was falling. How dark? I had not misheard. Are you light or very dark? Button B, button A. Stench of rancid breath of public hide and speak. When poet or the speaker said that he is African, what happened? There was a complete silence. On the other end of the telephone line, there was nothing but silence as the landlady considers this piece of deal breaking information. In that silence, the man could hear the tension between the landlady's prejudice and her manners. However, the silence soon broken when she finally spoke. She sounded like the kind of person who would be wearing a thick smear of lipstick and have a long gold coated cigarette holder in her mouth. Now he was stuck in a terrible position. She asked bluntly, how dark are you? First, the man thinks that he might have misheard the question, but when the landlady repeats, he understands that this is something very important for her to know before she allows him to rent her house. It took him a second to realize that he had not misheard her. She repeated. First, the speaker thought that he had misheard about how dark, about the ladies asking him about his darkness. But he came to know that he had not misheard because the landlady said, are you light or very dark? She repeated her question again. She repeated, are you light skinned or very dark skinned? It was like she was asking him something as simple as choosing between two buttons, button A or button B on the phone booth. He could smell her rancid breath hiding beneath her polite speech. Now the speaker came to know the prejudice prevalent in the society, in that lady's mind, and he was feeling very angry. Red booth, red pillar box, red double tired omnibus scratching tar. It was real. Shamed by ill mannered silence, surrender, pushed dumbfounded to beg simplification. Considerate she was, wearing the emphasis, are you dark or very light? Revelation came. You mean like plain or milk chocolate? Everything was red. just because of anger. The speaker feels violated and realizes that he has been reduced to an object just like the phone. He took stock of his surroundings, a red phone booth, a red mailbox, a red double decker bus, and a tire scratching through the hot asphalt. Feeling ashamed at his rude silence, he gave in and asked, utterly confused and shocked for clarification. She was nice enough to swap around the order of the words in the question. She said, are you dark skinned? She asked, or very light skinned. Finally, it made sense. The man came to understand what she wants to know, and he replied, are you asking if my skin is the color of regular chocolate or milk chocolate? Her asset was clinical, crushing in its light impersonality, rapidly wavelength adjusted. I chose West African sepia, and as afterthought, down in my passport. Silence for spectroscopic flight of fancy, till truthfulness clanged her accent hard on the mouthpiece. Her confirmation was detached and formal, devastating in how thoughtless and impersonal she sounded. The man quickly changed his tactic and chose the answer. My skin color is West African sepia. He answered to that landlady that my skin color is Western African sepia. And then, as an afterthought, he added, at least it is in my passport. Then there was silence again, and she imagined all the possible colors the man might be referring to. But then her true feelings took over and she spoke harshly into the phone till truthfulness changed her accent, hard on the mouthpiece. So she spoke harshly. She said, what's that? Conceding? Don't know what that is. Like Bronte. That is dark, isn't it? Not altogether. Facially, I'm Bronte, but madam, you should see the rest of me. Palm of my hands, soles of my feet are a peroxide blonde. Friction caused foolishly, madam, by sitting down has turned my bottom raven black. One moment, ma'am. Sensing her receiver rearing on the thunderclap about my ears, madam, I pleaded, wouldn't you rather see for yourself? The lady was not able to understand what is the meaning of West African sepia. So she asked, what is that? She asked, admitting, I don't know what that is. It is a Bronte color. The man told her that it is the color of a Bronte. It is a black color. She said, that's pretty dark, isn't it? Then poet or speaker answered, not entirely. He replied, he decides to employ humor to tackle his humiliation. He says that he is black, but he is not that black for everyone to be put to shame. He also says that the soles of his feet and the palms of his hand are all white, but he is a fool that he sits on his rear, which has turned black due to friction. He knows that the landlady will never be convinced with his black complexion, and he senses that she might slam down the receiver at such a crucial juncture. Knowing that the house is slipping out of his hand, he takes a joke. He asks her to come and take a good look at him and then decide for herself. He said, wait, hang on for a moment, ma'am. He said, sensing that she was about to slam down the phone. Ma'am, I begged, don't you want to see for yourself? You should come and see for yourself that how dark I am. So we can see the speaker uses his sharp wit and humor to make the readers understand the absurdity of racism. So the poem is basically about racism. Telephone conversation satirizes racism. यहाँ एक व्यंग्य किया गया है रेसिज्म पर. The speaker, who is black, makes fun of a white landlady who won't run to the speaker until she knows whether the speaker's skin is dark or light. In contrast to the landlady's simple reductive ideas about race, the speaker suggests that race and identity are complicated and multifaceted. Judging a person based on their skin color, the poem argues, is thus ignorant, illogical, and dehumanizing. These opening lines also establish the poem's home. It is written in a different casual tone with many caesuras, breaking up lines of various length. The form of the poem is free verse, as I told you in the beginning. There is not any overreaching rhyme scheme or meter in the poem. The poem flows along like a conversation. It's also worth noting that until line number 4, all the lines are enjambed. That gives the poem a kind of anxious speed, as though the speaker were rushing through the preliminaries, trying to get straight to the most difficult and essential point that comes in line number 5. So line 5 is then strongly end stopped, and gem lines are continuous with next line, and end stopped idea is completed in the same line. This end stopped convey certainty and self assurance. Thank you. So racism is not good for our society, for this world.